What a storming finish.
This is one of the greatest runs we've ever seen in Canadian history. This is extraordinary. Cam Levins is delivering on his promise. So much talent, so many years, so many people talked about the legend of Cam Levins, of all the workouts, of the 300-kilometer weeks.
So here he comes, the history man, the new Canadian national record holder, fourth in the race, Cam Levins of Canada. Brilliant.
What a moment. Cam Levins on the BT couch. What does it feel like to watch that back now?
You know, it brings back a lot of emotions. You know, it was a very, I've had a very difficult last couple of years leading up to this, and my whole family was there with me. And it was just, you know, I was so glad I could share that with them and just have an experience like that in my first marathon.
First marathon, setting the Canadian record for marathons here in this country, breaking that 43-year-old record that you just saw on screen. Take us through the emotions of the race. To go in, I guess no expectations maybe being your first marathon, but what you felt physically and more importantly, what you felt mentally going through this.
There's just a lot of unknowns in your first marathon. You know, people told me the last 10 kilometers of the race was going to be kind of the most difficult thing that I've ever done. And so I had that in the back of my mind for much of the race. I was like, you know, I'm feeling great, but what's going to happen when I get into the last section of the race? And I got there and realized that the feeling was one that I'd faced before in workouts. And I was like, I can do this. And so it's just, once I actually was going through it, I think it just became easier to manage.
This photo right here, George, if you can bring that photo back up, this is so iconic of just accomplishing something magnificent in life. In that very moment, where's your mind at? What's going through your head?
Well, I was celebrating, right? I was thrilled. Exaltation is just like anybody, I think, in that situation. I worked very hard to get to that moment, and it's just happy.
And you get to share it with family, as you mentioned, family was there, and you get to share it with the former record holder, Jerome Drayton. We're going back 43 years for this. You had a conversation with him. What did Jerome have to say about you breaking this record that has stood for so long?
Well, it was funny. Our conversation was almost strictly him just giving me training advice. It was maybe like 6 or 7 minutes long. He's a super nice guy, and he was just like, hey, you know, I've read about your training. He's like, here's things I think you could do differently for the next marathon. And it's awesome. The guy is just incredible how hard he trained back at that time, and just what he did without the technology and sort of science we have now for running is just an incredible feat.
Are you surprised it took so long when you look at the culture of running and competitive sport in Canada that it took 4+ decades to break a record like this?
I think I'm surprised it took as long as it did, but that being said, when he ran that time, it was, I think, the 5th fastest time ever. And so it was a very impressive run for when it was. I mean, I'm not surprised that it stood for a long period of time, just that it stood for, you know, probably another 20 years beyond when it should. But it took an amazing athlete to do it, and I think you don't see talent that often, you know, in Canadian history.
Well, you're a huge talent. You're sharing your talents. East Van Run Crew, you went for a 6-kilometer run earlier this week. What do you share with them for people seeing what you just accomplished and thinking, I could be Cam Levins one day, maybe I could beat that record one day if they want to get out and get active? What do you say?
You know, I think with all sport, it's just about going out, enjoying it, always having like fun with it. And you know, I don't think everyone wants to get out and train every single day. You know, it's not an easy thing, but I think if all in all you really enjoy and appreciate what you do, that's enough. And trying to sort of be your very best is kind of the most important thing. And so, I mean, whether someone else is going to go and surpass what I do, and I hope that I beat my own time at some point, and someone at some point goes and beats that. But it's really just about being one's very best.
Well, we get to share in your very best. I tell you what, let's take a look at the milestone moment. Once again, Cam Levins, congratulations, man. Doing Canadians proud. And we get to share in the feat with you. Can't wait to see where this goes right now. The pride of Black Creek, BC. We'll take a break. 2 hours, 9 minutes, 25 seconds. How long do you think till you break this, by the way?
Well, I'm running another marathon in the spring, so hopefully I knock it down even faster.
We'll see what happens. More to come here on BT.